Guys, welcome back to Good Muchachos episode 3. I'm Marino. This is Julio. And if you're new to the channel, we're two guys who live and breathe music. We've made it, we've talked about it, and we call it like we see it. Today, we're kicking things off with something fresh. So if you remember on our first episode, we spoke about the upcoming Michael movie and discussed Michael Jackson's life in great detail. Well, we both recently saw the new Michael Jackson biopic, Michael, last Thursday. So we're going to share our raw thoughts on the movie and then deep dive into our own experiences with the music world today versus the industry back in the day. So turn it up and let's get into it. First things first, Julio, how did you feel walking out of the theater last Thursday when the movie was done?
Well, first of all, Marina, I was very happy. I have a really good experience in the movie. Euphoria Jackson was amazing, in my opinion. I don't know why. Do you see that the legal critics, or I don't know, the formal critics, I think they put to the movie like a 30% of improvements, and the public critics were like 95%. So something is weird over there. I don't know why the formal critics are in that, are like putting that kind of qualification to the movie. But I was very happy. The movie make a real justice to Michael, to his legacy, to his music, to his performance, and to his energy as an artist. And yeah, I think it's this part, because it's going to be the second part. You know that, Marino. Maybe next year, I think the second part of the
Yeah,
Michael
I think
movie.
so. Yeah, that's what they confirmed.
Yeah, they have confirmed that days ago. But this first movie is like more how can I say, like a celebration of his legacy. I would like, I think this movie was more, we watch more like the the prime of Michael, the best of him in the performance, in music, and in a human being. uh I think in the second movie we're going to see more about the bad things that he was going through in that time of his life. And uh, maybe they will explore more about his demons. You know, we all have demons, and also Michael had his own issues. So I think in the second movie we're going to explore more about that. What do you think about Marino? And what were your thoughts about the
Yeah.
movie when you came out from the cinema?
Yeah, well,
In your opinion?
first things first, I absolutely love the movie. I think you guys should definitely go see it. It was a great movie overall. But I think, like you said, at least for the first part, the movie did focus on the first the first half of his life before he got into the allegations and the major battles that he had to face. So
Exactly.
the movie shed light on the positivity of Michael's life. You know, although there was moments in the movie where it depicted the extreme discipline of his father, or in some of the some of the abuse, I guess you should say,
Mhm.
that Michael used to talk about often. So that was really interesting. It was kind of like heartbreaking not to see Janet, part of the movie, because I know that they had them take out some parts. That's what I heard. Not all the parts that they filmed were actually in the final cut, and they had them removed. So that's also interesting as well, because like I would have loved to see, the whole group there in the movie, because I feel like Janet Jackson was the closest to Michael out of all of his siblings. So
Exactly.
I'm not 100% sure, but from what I heard online, I think she removed herself from the movie. That's just what I heard. But overall, the movie was a great movie. I mean, Jafar played an excellent role, from the dance moves to the singing. Yeah, it was really on point. You know, it was really on point. And the ending, I didn't, you know, for you guys that didn't see it, I'm not going to spoil it. But for the ending part, I didn't really expect the ending to end that way. So,
Mhm. Uh, yeah, Jafar was amazing. Even though he's his first time doing a film, it's his first job as an actor, and
exactly.
he did a really good job.
Yeah.
He studied his uncle Michael very close, and very much. And yes, also I was like a little bit, not only Janet, also Ravi Jackson and Randy Jackson were in the movie. So
Yeah.
from what I read is that the movie was more focused on the main family members of the Jackson Five. There were
Yeah.
Marlon, Tito, Jermaine, Jackie, and Michael. And Latoya, I think because she was also, I think Latoya also with Jermaine and Jackie were producers of the film, but also Latoya, I think that she was a big part of the Jackson TV show that they have in the 70s. So
Yeah.
that's why she was there in the movie. Uh, but yeah, Janet's. I don't know what happened between Janet and Paris that they don't like the movie. Maybe they wanted to the movie explore more the issues that he had in the past, maybe with substances for for the painkillers, maybe, or his issues with relationship with people. You know, because Michael wasn't, even though he was a really good person, he wasn't going to be a normal person like you and I. You and I, he grew up in a different kind of context than we did. So maybe they wanted to explore more that part of him. I don't know. Or what do you think? Why do you think Janet and Paris were too like they reject the movie so much? Why do you think?
Yeah.
Maybe because of
Because
that. Maybe they, I don't know.
what I think it was like, it almost seems as if the movie felt more like a greatest hits concert film more than a
Mm-hmm.
biopic. Because
Mm-hmm.
the biopic is really supposed to like go into his whole life in detail. But who knows? Maybe they might bring those parts up in the second part, right? So we'd have to wait and see. But
Yeah, the
definitely,
second.
I think like Paris Jackson mentioned a while back that she was saying like the movie kind of seems sugar coated, like sugar coated
Yeah,
fantasy, you know. So, and
a
I
little
get
bit.
it.
I get it to a little bit because the movie show us like Michael, this high supreme human being, like a really good person without any issues. So I get that thing. I get that. I get that. But well,
Well,
I think these kind of issues are going to be explored more in the second part. And you know that the first movie they have to cut a lot of parts. In the beginning, the movie was going to end in the first allegation of '93.
yeah,
That was the first cut of the movie, and I
exactly.
think because of confidentiality agreements that they did with the Chandler family and Michael, I think they had to remove those parts from the film. So
What was the Michael Jackson's manager that helped him become famous? Was it I forgot his name? John.
John Branca.
Yeah, that guy also played an amazing role, and I love the way the
Yeah.
film tying into our next segment, because I love the way the film shows like what artists had to kind of go through to become famous before, you know. So you see how uh, Michael Jackson's manager John Branca had to try and secure deals with the labels and being played on MTV to get recognition. So like those are some big like focal points of the movie, I think, in my opinion. And you know, relating to like our own experiences with making music, like for example, for you, like can you walk us through your journey of making music, and how would you, like, what would you say it takes to be famous like that, or to level up in your career in music, in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, and in my country, it depends. I think in the music industry, if it's well established, like in United States, that they had a music industry very very strong and established in the country, you may get a chance or a chance, or better said, you can have more opportunities to get get known from all over the world and have more opportunity to live from that. Because here in my country, the music industry is not so established in
Right.
comparison to the United States. So if we in the movie we can see that Michael, even though he was playing with his along with his brothers in the clubs, someone from discography saw him and his brothers how they perform in the clubs, and they hired them to the company that it was Motown, and they helped them to get big in all the entertainments, um, media from that time. That was the TV shows or the radio. So that kind of things help a lot to get known. Nowadays it's different. In my case, discography is not too strong here in my country. I don't know how is that going. How is that situation in Canada or United States now? But nowadays, a lot of artists are doing by themselves their own recordings, their own albums, their own photo sessions, their own media or videos. So it's now
Right.
it's very different. And also before, years ago in the Michael's era, Michael's time, the artists used to record full albums. So an album can take, nobody's going to get bored from an album in 4 or 5 years. So they get time to make more music in
Hmm.
5 years and get another album, another album, another album. So nowadays, if we release a song, maybe in 2 weeks it's going to be bored because nowadays the things are really fast. The
Yeah.
people want the things now and they get bored really fast. And
Right.
there's a lot and with this kind of social media and the internet, there's a lot of more competition. um, and I think you see that in big artists. The artist doesn't launch albums anymore. Not all of them. The artists more they prefer to launch singles instead of albums, and release a single one by month or so or so on. Because an
Right.
album, they know that the people are going to get bored really fast. That's my experience.
Yeah.
Even you can do it, but
And what do you like, based on your experience, like with creating and releasing music? What would you say has worked for you and your band to get yourself out there? Because before it seemed like all you had to do was, book gigs and venues and put yourself out there
yeah,
that way. But it almost seems like that's kind of like, it still works, but it seems like it's like a dying trend because it's not
it's
working as it used to work.
it's one part of it. No, in the movie, Michael and his brothers were the one. Their only responsibility that they had was to make new music and perform. That's it. The discography made the videos, made the shows, made the concert. They have a whole um, team behind them. No,
Right.
so nowadays that you said that in our case or in my case in this situation that we're speaking, we yeah, making music and perform and practice and book performance in some places is one part of the thing.
Yeah.
You know, being the best singer, being the best guitar player, being the best bass player doesn't mean that you're going to be big. There are a lot of really great musicians, really great singers that they they are not famous.
They're not exactly.
They nobody knows them. So um, is one part of it. You have to be you need to have charisma. You have to um, get contacts. You have to make social media videos. So it's
Yeah.
a whole thing. It's not just play and that's it. If your music is really good and you don't have any kind of marketing plan, it's not going to work.
Yeah. So
So,
would you say, like, because before, as we were seeing in the movie with Michael Jackson, you know it seems like the labels that he was with took care of all the marketing, right? And I think there was even a point in the movie where he was saying that he didn't want any advertising when he wanted to change his whole persona and become big. So, like, that's really interesting because, like, before, a lot of these artists got recognized with radio play, but now a lot of people nowadays don't listen to the radio as much as they once did, right?
uh-huh. Yes,
So
nobody listens to it nowadays.
yeah, nobody listens to the radio. And even when Michael Jackson came out with the Thriller album, he didn't do a tour for that album because he went on to go do the Victory tour with his brothers. And
Of
then,
course,
yeah, exactly. He was forced, exactly. And then after, in the Bad tours, when he started playing his songs from the Bad album and from Thriller album as well, right?
yeah.
So, just an interesting fact to add in over here. Global revenue is booming, but streaming right now rules everything. In
Mhm.
2025, the entire recorded music business hit $31.7 billion. So streaming alone made up for 69.6% of that,
Mhm.
right? Of that revenue. So that's over $22 billion. While physical formats like vinyl,
It's, yes.
it's starting to come back. People are starting to buy them again. But it's just to say that, like, for artists nowadays, 70% of the revenue is coming
I'm
from
streaming.
streaming. So
And even the
that's the
streaming,
hard part.
uh-huh. And even the streaming, you need to be really big to get a really good money from it because I think one listing of the song it gives you like 0.0007 cents of a dollar. So you need to get
Yeah.
a lot of streamings from one song to get a really good money. Yeah, the thing that the physical form of like vinyls or discs or cassettes, they're coming back, yeah, but this more for the real fans, like a collection thing
Yeah.
you want, you know that. One thing that you told me before that, yeah, I remember in the movie that Michael said, I don't want any promotion, I don't want to have any kind of interviews. He was able to do that. Why? Because his image was so overexplored in all his years of his
Yeah.
childhood and with Jackson 5 that he was able to do that kind of
That's
things.
true. Yeah.
He wanted to be a mystery man and he want that kind of aura in him. So he was able to do that. A normal people like me, I would love to have a lot of exposure in every kind of uh, platform, you know.
Yeah. Well, like they were showcasing in the movie, with MTV, right? There was a part where they went
Black
to
artist.
exactly to MTV to ask if they can have the music
That's what
video being
what
played,
many.
right?
Uh-huh.
Because labels used to bet millions on artists for years for radio play and for MTV, right? And now all of that has changed. So, I mean, over 50% of all the music consumed on major platforms now comes from independent or unsigned artists. Versus before, it's like you had to be signed to a label to even get yourself out there. Now we're seeing that the reverse is happening. You don't need a major label machine anymore, right?
So yes, but there are very little. Uh, how can I say? You can do that without any label if you have all the team behind you and the music and the videos and the content. But I think the label is a really good help if you're starting with a business.
You
A
guys don't
label?
have a label, you and your band, right?
No, we don't have a label. Well, our producer, his own label is called Naked Records, but it's
Okay.
not like he's doing any kind of thing more than only record our songs. He hasn't
Yeah.
he the my producer doesn't do he doesn't
Promoting.
do promoting marketing or uh, reaching people to perform to this place or with this band or he's only recording the music and that's it. That's his job. So if you have a label, you have a team behind you, it's going to work. That's the thing because like any kind of work, you can't do everything.
Yeah,
You can't
I
do everything.
agree. Yeah.
And the music, making music is a really spiritual and feeling thing. So you have to be inspired to make music. So if you are busy with your mind doing this and this and that and this and that to make your album work, it's not going to give you the right amount of inspiration to make more music.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you just it's right that you nowadays you don't need a big label. It's going to help, yes, but if you have a team behind you that helps you to reach your objective, it will go really really good.
Yeah, because I mean, even when I used to make music as well and my own singles. Well, just to put things into perspective here, making music nowadays, I believe, is much, much more expensive than it ever was before. But you
Think
know,
so?
yeah, yeah, I think it's become easier. I'm not 100% sure, but given all the technology that we have, I think it's become easier to make music.
Mhm.
But you know, still, when you go record at a studio, it's still a lot of money to produce the music or make an album, right? It's not cheap. But
Uh, mhm.
like after you've done uh making your music, because before radio used to be the main way to find new music, and now for young
Mhm.
listeners it's like TikTok and YouTube. Like you can post a clip that features your own music and all of a sudden it could become big overnight, right? So the methods have definitely shifted and the game has definitely shifted as well. But the question I wanted to ask you was, given the expenses and the cost of making music for artists nowadays, are artists getting paid fairly?
No. Well, no, the streams they pay really, really, really low. Like I told you, if you get a lot of streams from your song, you're going to have a good, how I say, revenue or uh, good payment from it. But it's really low that how much in comparison to the streams that you have in a song. It's really low how much the platform is paying to
Yeah.
you.
Especially on
It's really
Spotify,
low.
the guys, the math is pretty brutal. It's actually 0.003 to
Exactly. Yeah.
0.005 per
Cents.
stream. Yeah, per
Yeah,
stream.
it's really low. So if you want to have a
So, I mean,
money from it,
that means you need millions of streams just to make real money after splits.
millions or billions,
So
exactly. Yeah.
it seems like touring, merchandise, and sync deals are still where most of the mid tier artists actually gain the most money.
Exactly. Exactly. And also, I think Marino, I think difference about the thing that nowadays the music. I think now you can record music more cheaper than before, huh? Because you can have a home studio I know that you can home studio, you have to uh, get your equipment and have your
Yeah.
program and software. But if you have a producer, like in my case, my producer, he has his own home studio, and
Right.
I record there my guitar, the bass, the drums, the voices. So
Well, are you
it
paying him
was
by hour or by song? How does
no
that
by
work?
song, by song, by song.
And how much, for example,
Uh,
does he charge
uh,
per song?
I think it was like $250 or $300. I think I don't remember. I have let me check. But it was not so expensive because before that I remember in my when I did my first recordings from my songs when I was like 23 years old. Uh, I record in the studio. I record in the studio my guitar with the amp.
Yeah.
Also the bass player. I record in a studio that were specialized in drums. So we record that, and the payment was by hours.
Right.
Uh, but now in my case, my producer, we all record in the home studio. We can get there for we could be there for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and he's not going to charge more money for that. I think we paid $350 per song or $300. I don't remember, but we have unlimited time,
Yeah.
and a, and
That's
a
good,
lot of
actually.
and a lot of resources to to put in the song because he has a lot of different kind of sound effects or different kind of drums in his program, so we can play more with experimenting different sounds. But before that, if you want to have a different sound, you have to get that instrument, get that equipment, install in the studio, put the microphones, and that takes time. And the studio
Yeah.
charges you by hour.
For that. Yeah.
So in that thing, yeah, you say the game change in uh, marketing music, getting money from music, and also to record the music. Everything has changed. And also, if you can see, I don't know if you see in the social media, but a lot of musicians nowadays are like influencers now because they want to
Yeah.
get attention to get their music, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Well,
Sometimes I feel weird because a lot of musicians, a lot of uh, bands over there wants to. They want so much attention that they start to, and I got that kind of uh, how was a mistake by myself and my band. They want to be like a joke band to get attention, to get like, imagine 1 million views in one video because it's fun, but doesn't repercute nothing in their streamings.
yeah, I understand.
So
Yeah.
so nowadays that kind of mistake is it's like a virus in all over the bands and artists nowadays. They want to get they want to do fun videos to have attentions, but they forgot that they are selling and they are promoting and marketing their own music and their own art.
Hmm.
They forgot about that because they want only attention. And
Yeah.
if they get 1 million views from one video, that is a comic video, a comedy video, they're happy because of that. But well, okay, you get known by this video, or but doesn't show anything difference in your streamings listeners. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, independent artists and labels, uh, they took half of all of Spotify's royalties in 2025. So, I guess you can say that nowadays artists, they have more creative control over the process, right? But
yeah,
the the grind is a lot more difficult, right? So you may have more control over the direction of the promoting, the advertising, the marketing, what you want to create, but to get to the same place as where and as where, let's say, an artist in the 80s would be. I think it's much more difficult, but that's the trade-off, you know. So the major labels, they might push you harder, you know, but you know, on the streaming side, it actually lets you do your own stuff. I still think that, you know, and I believe we spoke about this before, that in the music industry, there's almost like a box. You know, I like to call it the Hollywood box.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still real and it's still there. And I think it's even more prevalent in today's society than it ever was before. You know, because there's a lot of gatekeeping and image pressure, you know, in the industry, and those things haven't disappeared. So, you know, artists, they have to be people who fit the box, the marketable mold. So the looks,
Okay.
the story, the sound, to fit the idea that Hollywood is trying to promote, the agenda that they're trying to promote onto people. Because I always say, like, you know, so many good artists, even like Michael Jackson, at the end of it, they get so fed up of the labels and the industry that they just want to disassociate themselves from them and really do the music that they truly want to push out and promote. Right? So, and what I mean by that, it's because it's almost like, you know, if you're an artist and you make a song and Hollywood, it doesn't necessarily fit the Hollywood box or the Hollywood mold, they won't push your music out there. It's just going to be kept on the down low.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a perfect example of that is looking at so many of the artists that are coming up nowadays. You know, that the ones that are mainstream. I'm not saying the ones that are you know, not famous, but I'm talking about the ones that are already famous. They all fit like this kind of box that they're trying to
Image.
promote, or image, exactly. So, like, I do believe, like, as an artist, you have to grind and work hard to achieve the success that you want. But I also feel like that success is limited by the Hollywood box. So similar to how, like, what happened to Michael Jackson, well, if you don't fit that Hollywood box, that mold, we're just gonna ruin your, you know, your reputation and take you down, and take you out of the spotlight, and talk negatively about you. So they did this with a lot of artists, not only Michael Jackson, but that's how I look at the industry now.
Well, I know that in case of Michael, we all know that there's there were some people that wanted him to they want to get him down. Also, well, I know very well why Michael wanted to disassociate with Sony, that was his label, because they put him a lot of traps
Yeah,
in order that Michael loses money, because in his last album he was doing really well in sellings, but the fact that Michael put his own music catalog, like secure if something was wasn't going well with the album, Michael was contractual, saying that he was going to sell that catalog to Sony. And when Sony watched that Michael was doing good in selling the Invincible album, they stopped the marketing, they stopped everything, they stopped producing the singles and the
yeah,
cassettes and the discs, in order that Michael loses money, and then they can, how I say, they can get the catalog from him. So that kind of traps make Michael to hate Tommy Mottola and Sony, and he wanted to disassociate with them.
yeah,
The box that you're saying, I don't know if there is a box. I remember that you told me that because I
yeah,
show you a Machine Gun Kelly video clip. I remember that.
yeah.
Yeah, you
Machine Gun
hate.
Kelly looks like he fits the box.
Yeah, I remember that conversation we had. Uh, I don't know if there's a box, man. Maybe, for example, Lady Gaga, she's producing a box. Lady Gaga for you, or Bruno
Yeah,
Mars. Bruno Mars too.
Bruno Mars not as much, but I'm saying I'm not saying all the artists are like are a part of this box, but it just seems like, for example, like I think Michael Jackson broke through the Hollywood system with his pure talent, but today
Yeah,
it just feels like fit the box or get buried by the algorithm type of thing.
I think that you, as a person that consume music and love music, I think you can know if some artists do it because they love it or do it because of the money.
Yeah, well, you were saying earlier, because you made me think about this. You were saying how like someone could, do the music that they're doing, and then the way that they market themselves isn't necessarily true to their music. They're just marketing themselves that way just so that they can get a lot of attention,
Attention,
right?
exactly.
So, but this attention that they're craving, this attention that they're doing, is it attention that fits inside the Hollywood box? That's what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, like following trends and that kind of things. That you're saying. That what you're saying.
Yeah, like you could say like Cardi B, or let's say Machine Gun Kelly, for example. Realistically speaking, these artists that are famous are, in my opinion, nowhere near as good and as passionate as artists were just,
In the past.
30 to 50 years ago.
Yes, yeah, I agree with you that there are some artists and bands that are corporated bands that they made in order to
Yeah.
only get money.
Yes.
You know, like I don't know if K-pop is that way, but man, K-pop is a really big industry. They hire those guys. They make a group with the Korean boys from since they were little kids, and they train in a college, and they work. They put like the Joseph Jackson, like a Joseph Jackson of school, that make them to practice and practice in order to get money from those kids. And the people behind that, they are the faces, but the people behind the songs and the marketing are the really big corporates. And you say, like you said, these kind of bands are in that box that follows the Hollywood thing. But there's another artists and bands like Michael Jackson or the Chili Peppers or Bruno Mars that they're
Don't.
truly they
Yeah.
truly go because they love what they are doing. They
Yeah.
don't care about the money. The money.
Right.
If you do, I think that if you do the good things with all your heart and effort, and because you love to do it, the money is going to come. I think that.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I, I still think you can make your way to the very top the real way. However, what I'm trying to say is that I think that it's, there's limits to what you can actually do, because Michael Jackson and the Chili Peppers, when they were up and coming, it was the Chili Peppers was in the 90s, right? When they were up and
80s,
coming
80s,
and when becoming famous, it was
80,
late 80s,
89. Yeah, well, the famous 91. Famous 91.
right?
They came famous 91. Yeah.
So at that point in time, you know, probably there was still the Hollywood box that I'm talking about, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Like if you
Yeah.
look at all the artists, up after like 2006 or 2007, I don't know, something, I feel that something went wrong there. It's just not the same anymore. And speaking for myself as someone who's uh wrote my own songs, uh you know I'm not saying that artists have to be perfect, but what I'm saying is that just the artists don't seem genuine anymore. It seems
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
art is like, it's like decaying, it's like dying out.
I know what you're saying. I know when you see like you know, mm, this kind of events and new artists that I don't even know, but they show them like, like fake. No,
Yes.
they don't seem genuine. I know I know where you're going. I know that there are artists like that.
Yeah, like
Um,
how do you get, for example, Michael Jackson, Prince, Stevie Wonder, uh, Lionel Richie, for example, George Michael, the Chili
yeah,
Peppers. You
you see
get them
them.
you get them all in that same time frame, and now you look at today and we have what we have, which is
Uh,
basically nothing, because I don't think any of the artists today will be
yeah,
remembered will be remembered for much as people who shook the music industry and really connected to people with their music as they
yeah.
did from the 60s up until the 2000s.
So you're saying that I think that summarizing that what you're saying right now is that before in the past in the 80s, 90s, or 70s or 60s or too, you're saying that the music and the feeling of that was more a feeling, a sentimental, a true thing, a real thing that they
Yeah,
wanted to they wanted to talk, they wanted to share a message, they wanted to connect with people, they want that kind of connection and feeling. And now you're saying that the music is a more corporate thing, that they want to
exactly.
get money and that thing.
Exactly. Well, because like
They
music is
have
very
all
powerful, right? It heals and
exactly.
it connects. It brings
It-
people together. But I don't
exactly.
feel like any of the music today is actually doing that. It isn't healing, and it isn't actually bringing people together as it should be.
Artists nowadays they want to get attention. That's I think.
Exactly. And the artists that are releasing their songs and their albums nowadays, is it all for clout, fame, and attention, and fitting inside that Hollywood box, or are they actually putting that stuff out because they actually believe in it, what they're putting out?
Mhm.
So that's what I mean by that.
Which kind of artists you think that they are in the box? I think that you will say Machine Gun Kelly or Justin Bieber and that kind of thing, or Bad Bunny. I think I don't know.
I think Justin Bieber is no longer in that box. I think he's come out of that box now.
Now I think so. I think so now. Yeah,
Yes, uh, because I believe he sold his whole catalog, right?
yeah, and he made a new album now.
Right. But I think, yeah, at some point, many artists, maybe even including Michael Jackson, was part of
He
that
was
box at the
he
beginning.
was he was part of that box because remember he was a black artist doing funky music and he was in that
Yeah.
box
Well, that's what
and
I'm
they
saying.
kicked out of the box.
Up until the allegations started is where I think he was actually coming out of that box because he wanted to do his own thing and his own way. Right? I'm not saying Michael Jackson's music before wasn't good. It was amazing, right? The window has definitely expanded, and the box that I'm talking about symbolically is definitely, it definitely feels more prevalent in today's music that's being released.
And do you think there is any artist nowadays that is not in the box?
That's a good question, actually. Yeah, I still think that there are, of course. Um, I, I think Akon uh, is a really good artist.
Okay,
Um,
Bruno Mars I think is a good artist too,
yeah, Bruno Mars is a good artist as well. But
or Young Mayer, that
I,
kind of things.
yeah, exactly. I just, I don't know. I don't know if Bruno Mars has fully stepped out of the box, in my opinion.
Okay,
I think this happens a lot more to artists who are in hip hop, pop, R&B, more so than rock artists. You
reggaeton.
know, reggaeton. Yeah, actually, speaking of reggaeton, Bad Bunny is someone who I think fits the box. what he also promotes about politics, which is I don't think any artist should be talking about those things. Should be using their platform for political discussion. Just stick to your music and do that.
He
You
did
know.
that?
Yeah, he did. He
I
did.
didn't know. I didn't know that. I don't
Yeah.
listen too much Bad Bunny because I only listen Bad Bunny guys for my sister. I don't know so much about what he's doing on social media, but maybe he's in the box. I don't know. Yeah, because well, one thing about Bunny that I can rescue is that he made the he was able to achieve the dream, man. I remember years ago in 2016, he was playing in the Cono here in Peru for 15 soles a ticket or 10 soles
Right.
a ticket.
Yeah.
And now
Now.
and
Yeah.
then he made the Super Bowl. But maybe he did, like Marino says, going through the to be an artist in the box or selling his soul to the devils in order to get that
Mm-hmm.
kind of you know achievements. Well, I don't know, but
So I have a question for like, because I mean I stopped making music a long time ago, but for those of you who don't know, Julio has his own band, and he still continues to make his own music with his band. His band is called
mhm.
Manette, by the way. We'll put him down in the description down below. And so, uh, for you guys, where do you think the music industry is going? And if you ever come across pressure from people telling you can't write music like this, you have to do it this way because it fits a box,
Mhm.
do you guys think you would submit to that pressure, or just like, you know what, screw you, even whether we get famous or not, it doesn't matter, we're just doing our own thing in the music that we want to promote
Well,
and push out?
okay. Well, my experience at the beginning, I don't know if you, but in the beginning, we wanted to do our own thing. We want to make the music that we want, that we liked, that we think that is going to work for the people. Sometimes it doesn't work because you make that kind of songs to a specific group of people, and we all know that as musicians, we do music because we love it, but we also want to get more listeners all over the
Mm-hmm.
world. So then, before Manette, the band called Daggets, and Daggets had a different sounds
Right.
in comparison to Manette. Then we wanted to make music like was more commercial or more uh like easy to listen to the most amount of people possible. But for that, we don't we don't sell ourselves to make pop music or that kind of things. Uh yes, we get influenced by the pop music that we like and fusion it with and combine it with the music that we get influenced by, but really get influenced by. In my case, can be Michael Jackson, can be Chili Peppers, can be The Strokes, Arctic Monkeys,
Right.
and and so on. And we mix that kind of influences with the pop music, and we get new producers, and that make. And Marino told me that make a different sound to us. That it was and it is, sorry, it is more easy to listen than before.
Yeah.
So it's more like a commercial thing, but a commercial thing in our own agreements, in our own,
In your own
uh,
way. Yeah. Something that you
in
guys
our
all abide by and say, okay, we're fine with
in
this.
yeah, in our own way. We're more pop now, but it's our type of pop, our type of commercial music. So if I get a contract with a label and they told me, yeah, you can do your music, but you have to do it in that way. Uh, first I have to listen what are
Your
their
ideas.
recommendations, the ideas of these corporate guys are giving to me. But I'd rather to have I would like to have a how to say an agreement between both parts and make the music that it can work, but also we love to listen and do it. So because if I do a music that I don't like to play or I don't like to listen, there is not going to be any kind of sentimental thing or inspiration to do it. So I have to.
Yeah, what's the
Yes,
point?
yes, yeah. What's the point? Yeah, I can do music. I can do different kind of music. I love all kind of musics. I don't close myself to listen this kind of music or this kind of that. No, I if I get more influence uh, by all kind of music, for me it's good because I can put that kind of influence into my own music. So in that case, if someone told me that, I will get an agreement and I will do a mixed type of music, but that we all like, myself, my band, and the corporates, because this is a business.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you guys.
then when we are like Michael Jackson, then if you are like this kind of level, you can do whatever you want. Michael, if Michael wanted to do
Well,
a
that
chicha song, a
that's the
cumbia
thing.
song, a salsa song, it's going to be mainstream because it's Michael. You know,
Yeah, but I think that once you're at that level of fame,
you can do whatever you want.
well maybe you have even more pressure to fit inside the box, because if you don't, then they're gonna take away that fame from you and they're gonna remove you from the spotlight. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know,
How how how, how if you get out of the box?
yeah.
I don't know. For example, Bad Bunny, he was doing trap at the beginning, reggaeton, trap, and perreo,
Mhm.
these kind of things. But his new album, he made salsa, man. So
Yeah, but I'm saying his image and the things that he says and the things that he writes about in his songs, they fit that
yeah,
Hollywood box.
I think I think it also. I think it fits the kind of music that he does.
I obviously don't know for 100% sure. It's just my opinion and speculation. But maybe he does have pressure from people saying, well, you have to write about sex and drugs, for example,
Mhm.
because that's the type of direction that we're
Music
going, and this is what we have to push. Yeah, like a lot. What I'm
that
saying is
thing
a lot of
sells.
the things that artists write about nowadays are things that
Sells.
artists wrote. Exactly, it sells. Like, artists
Sells.
might have wrote about it before too, but it was less prevalent in the music.
Uh, I think also it's the level of fame that you have, or the kind of, if you get to a legend like position like Michael, Stevie Wonder, the kind of guys, uh, whatever thing or whatever message that you're going to sell, the people are going to be happy with that. But nowadays, the artists just want one thing, they just want to sell.
Yeah,
I think nowadays. In my case, also, I want to sell. I'm not going to lie to you, but I want to sell music that I also like, and to
exactly.
be real. And to be real, I don't want to change my kind of mentality or you know,
Yeah, you want to
the,
be
the way
true
I
to
the way
yourself,
the way I dress, the way I speak,
right?
the way I be with people. So
Well, this is
mm,
this is the thing that I'm talking about, right? Is that a lot of artists, when they're up and coming, they could do the music that they like, and it also gets promoted, and they become famous from it. But at some point, maybe it becomes very hard for an artist to actually be true to themselves if they want their career to continue uh, to continue progressing and making more money off their music?
Um, well, I mean, I think that you have, like you say, you have to be real. If you want to do music, you have to be real. If you want to, uh, like, how can I say? If you want to break through time, I don't know if it could say that kind of way, but if you want to be active for long, for too many years, you have to be true to yourself. Like Michael, he was the same Michael like he was in child, and then when he was an adult. The Chili Peppers, they are the same kind of crazy guys from the beginning until now, and they're really famous. So you have to keep your own values and your own kind of way that you are, in order that you can break the time, you can be active and important. There's a lot of reggaeton singers that we don't know about them nowadays, or
Yeah.
pop singers or boys bands. So you have to be real to yourself and do music that you like. Also, taking count the music that the people wants to hear. That's a really important thing that it took me time to understand. Also, you're doing songs to the people, so you have to more or less give them what they want, but you don't have to lose the way, and not do anything that you don't like. So you have to,
Yeah, you
like I
don't have to
said,
lose your touch and your uniqueness.
yeah,
You
but also
can,
have to more or less give the people what they want.
right.
No.
So before we wrap up, are there any final thoughts or suggestions that you would give to people who are currently in the process of making their own music and want to succeed at it?
Well, if you are a solo artist, write as many songs as you can. Then find a good producer. Listen to the people. Don't get close. Don't get close mind and only want to do your own thing. You have to also take in account what the people wants to hear, and don't lose, how I say, focus on your dream, and find a good team to work with, because even though you're a great musician or a singer, a great team behind you for marketing, for example, is going to give you a lot of help. And for a band, the same thing, but you have to work with people that really take seriously the dream, because a band is like a family. You all have to be, you if you are four guys or five guys, you have to be four guys, but in one mind. You have to be one. So you have to follow that dream and don't lose the focus.
Exactly.
And every time practice every day. Happened to me that I was working outside my house and my inspiration disappeared for a time. So practice every day to get every time ideas.
Yeah.
If you have an idea, record in your phone, write it down. And if you're in a band, you're going to have fights. That's normal. It's like a marriage. You're going to have fights, but don't take it too personal. This maybe it's going to be fights for a agreement, but I know that I know for a fact that all in the group had the same dream.
Right.
So get if you have a kind of discussion, wait some time and talk with those guys, because none of us wants that our project goes down. So um, take that in consideration. What more can I suggest them? I think to get a great team, a marketing team, a manager, so you can have more time for yourself to make music.
Okay.
Because I know if you make everything like I
So you
did
have
in
to do
some
everything on
time,
your own. Yeah.
you are not going to have any kind of brain or energy to make more music or new music.
Right.
So
Because you're worrying about
uh,
too much at the same time.
yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough. And now social media, even though if you don't like to do social media, you have to do it. Is the thing, the game change. The social media for music industry is a really important thing.
Yeah,
It's really important nowadays. And write from your heart and what you like. And that's it. I think that's my suggestion. If I have more suggestions
that's
when
good.
I got big in the industry, I will tell you guys. Don't no problem for my part.
That's good. You touch
And
upon
play gigs, play
a
gigs.
lot of key points over there that people
Yeah,
can
and
take
play
from.
gigs. And play gigs. If you're able to do your own concert, you, with you being the principal band, and it's going to be amazing. And that's it. And practice every day. Practice with your band weekly. Practice yourself every day. Michael do that. Michael did that every day. He was a amazing singer. He was an amazing dancing, but he was practicing every day.
And that's a wrap. That'll be it, guys. We went deep on the new Michael movie. If you didn't get a chance to see it, please go check it out. It's amazing
Right now.
right now. And let us know what you guys think of the movie once you do see it in the comment section down below. We touched upon our personal experiences in the music industry, more specifically Julio, because he has a lot more experience in the industry than I do. Shout out to everyone making music out there. Keep creating and don't stop. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Good muchachos out.